We all dream of becoming rich and driving fancy cars, living in humongous houses, and going on lavish vacations. But none of us ever dream of living in poverty. Just like certain habits can make you rich, they can also make you poor. So in today's video, we go over 5 habits you need to quit to escape poverty. But before we start, please click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and tap the bell notification to get notified anytime we drop a new video. There's a saying, being poor isn't your fault, but if you die poor, it's your fault. Just like certain habits will make you rich, other habits will make you poor and keep you poor. Habit number 1, stop gossiping. Have you ever heard the saying, loose lips sink ships? Loose lips sink ships originated from World War I, when sailors on leave from their ships might talk about what ship they sailed on, where it had come from, or where it was going. If they talked too much, had loose lips, they might accidentally provide the enemy with anecdotal information that might later cause their ship to be tracked, bombed, and sunk. Hence, loose lips sink ships. Later, it came to mean any excessive talk might sabotage a project, aka gossip. If you get caught gossiping just once, people will have a hard time trusting you, and others won't confide in you or think they can keep anything private between you. When people don't trust you, you can't build solid connections, and without connections, it's extremely hard to move up in your career and make more money. We live in a world where trust is hard to earn and even harder to keep. Be the kind of person everyone can trust and cut all gossip out of your life for good. Habit number 2, procrastination. One of the surest ways to quickly find yourself in poverty is procrastination. If you want to become rich, you have to follow through and execute your goals instead of delaying or avoiding them. Some examples of procrastination are filling your day with low-priority tasks, starting a task, then going to make coffee, constantly surfing social media, or watching too much TV. Procrastination will always keep you from getting to the next level, and the only people who win in life are those who make moves when they don't feel like it or are required to do so. For example, you could be the best car salesman in the world, but if you don't take time to walk the car lot and look for potential buyers or return their calls or emails, you may not reach your monthly sales quota and could lose your job, which could have you staring straight into the face of poverty. Not only does procrastination hold you back from financial goals and productivity, but it can also keep you from missing opportunities. How many times have you missed out on something only to kick yourself later? You don't realize that missing out on those opportunities could have been life-changing. Sometimes things only come around once in a lifetime. Procrastination can also lead to making poor decisions. When you procrastinate, you could make decisions that you wouldn't have had you not procrastinated. Things like deciding under pressure that if you had more time to think about, you wouldn't make it. Or having to tackle a personal issue over something work-related because you ran out of time to do both. Emotions have an enormous influence on the decisions we make, and procrastination increases negative emotions. You may decide solely based on fear, which you want to avoid at all costs. Procrastination can also risk your physical health. How often have you skipped going to the gym and told yourself, I'll go tomorrow instead? Or missed a healthy meal because you were too lazy to cook something up? Or you may have skipped a meal, only to binge on some ice cream or chocolate later to eliminate the hunger pains. Nothing is worse than jeopardizing your health. Nothing else matters if you don't have that. Habit number 3, borrowing more than necessary. Keeping up with the Joneses gets quite expensive. And as the best-selling author and financial expert Dave Ramsey once said, we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. Many people struggle with debt, especially from credit cards, where interest rates can reach as high as 26%, plus late fees if you miss any payments on time. A recent study found that low-income American households spend over 40% on debt repayment alone. If they didn't have any debt, they could invest in money-making investments such as the stock market, real estate, or starting a small business. Not only does debt keep you enslaved with high interest rates, but it could also destroy your credit, which means if you were to get a car loan, for example, you'd pay a higher interest rate than if you had good credit. Debt can and will put you into poverty faster than almost anything else. So make it a goal to pay down the highest interest rate debt you have as quickly as you can, and never borrow more than you need to survive. Habit number 4, focusing on too many things. How many professional athletes could successfully go pro in more than one sport? Off the top of my head, I can only think of 5 or 6 over the past 30 years. Why? Because we must spend an average of 10,000 hours to master anything, and there aren't enough hours in a day to focus on mastering more than one thing. We all have that one friend who works a full-time job, but also has a side hustle that they can't get off the ground, and may even work a third job. Yet, if they focus solely on excelling in one or the other, they would only need to juggle one thing. Becoming successful in anything requires time, dedication, and guidance. Anything that takes away from any of those becomes a distraction. Being an expert in only one thing will increase your professionalism and help you succeed faster. Habit number 5, seeking instant gratification. Instant gratification is the urge to satisfy a craving right away without considering the long-term effects. We now live in a world where we wait for almost nothing. Want to read a new book? Order a digital copy on Amazon and read it on your phone. Want a date? Open up Tinder and swipe right until someone shows up at your front door. And although having these options are convenient, choosing instant gratification can be very detrimental in the long run. Anything that comes fast and easy isn't always a good thing. Back in the 1960s, a Stanford psychologist named Walter Mischel did something called the marshmallow test. He offered 4-year-old children a chance to eat 1 marshmallow, or wait and get 2 instead. A later follow-up study found that those kids who waited for 2 marshmallows instead of 1 later became adults with greater self-control, as they were found to have done better academically and were more socially competent and able to resist temptation better. The ability to wait for things is a major psychological resource. Those who have self-control and can fight instant gratification do better with finances, occupational success, physical and mental health, and have fewer criminal convictions. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where instant gratification may cause you to buy something you don't need impulsively, take a day or 2 to think about how you can invest that money or pay down some debt instead. One final thing you can do to help delay instant gratification is to reward yourself. Let's say you save an extra $300 a month for 3 months straight. After 3 months, reward yourself with a nice dinner at your favorite restaurant. Hey, it looks like this next video YouTube recommends will help change your life. Go ahead and give it a watch, and let's see if they're right.